campaign sponsor.
Reach beyond boundaries with Edlocate. Explore education across 6 destinations under one roof.
Shocking details brought to you today, of course, with regard to the crimes that are taking place in Sri Lanka, especially a spree of murders that are taking place across Sri Lanka. Now, at this point of time, we don't know what really is the source reason for these murders. We don't know if all of these murders are connected, but there was another Venerable Thera who was also killed today. Good evening and welcome. This is Primetime News on TV1. We've got the details of these stories and much more lined up for you tonight.
And now we'll start off by taking a look at your headlines for tonight.
Another shooting claims the life of a Buddhist monk. How did the Beliatta assassins escape? Much scrutinized online safety bill taken up for debate in Parliament. Debate commences following a vote. Online safety bill will only be amended based on the Supreme Court's recommendations. A new bill to be presented for fresh amendments, says Minister Tiran.
හෙට දිනේ ඡන්දය වරුණාට පස්සේ මම ඒ අලුත් යෝජනා සියලු දේ ඊළඟ කැබිනට් මණ්ඩලයට ඉදිරිපත් කරනවා කියලා. ඉදිරිපත් කිරීමෙන් පසුව ගැසට් කරනවා.
A fresh bill agreed by both the government and opposition must be presented. A proposal by M.A. Sumanthiran.
In your top story tonight, a Buddhist monk was killed in a shooting by an armed group who stormed into a temple in Malwatuhiripitiya, Gampaha this morning.
Now, eyewitnesses, of course, of this crime revealed that a group who claimed to be from the Criminal Investigations Department had entered the temple and had committed the murder.
The time was around 11:45 this morning. Location Ganarama Temple in Kahatana, Malwatuhiripitiya. The target of the assassins was Venerable Kalapaluwave Dhammaratana Thera, who was temporarily residing at the Ganarama Temple in Kahatana, Baliveria, Gampaha.
The chief abbot asked them where they are from. They said they were from Mathurugiriya. Then the Thero called the other Thero and told him their requirement. A few seconds later, a person with a gun came running and threatened us, saying he will open fire. They then claimed they were from the CID and that they were at the temple because of a tip-off they received regarding narcotics. They pulled up a temple assistant and asked him where the Thero's room is. At that moment, a dog in the temple pounced at them, causing them to jump out into the garden. When we went out to see if they had fled, they shot 2 rounds into the sky and another directed at us. That bullet hit our monk. There were 4 people. They dragged me by my shirt and forced me to show them narcotics. I saw 2 guns. The monk who passed away wanted to see what was happening and he threatened them to shoot if they can. That is when they shot him.
45-year-old Dhammaratana Thera, who was injured following the shooting, passed away upon admission to the Gampaha District General Hospital. According to the police, 4 men who were travelling in a car had carried out the shooting with a T-56 firearm. 2 bullet shells have been recovered from the scene of the crime. Police said the deceased monk had been residing at the temple for around 3 months.
අපි විශ්වාස කරනවා පුද්ගලික ආරවුලක් මත යම් ක්‍රියාකාරක පරිගැනීමක් කරාද කියලා ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේ
We believe this was an act of revenge motivated through a personal dispute. Investigations have revealed that the deceased monk was known for the various rituals he conducted. We still have not been able to reveal the real motive. Several teams are probing this matter, led by the SSP of the Gampaha range.
ගම්පහ කොට්ටාශ බාර ජ්‍යෙෂ්ඨ පොලිස් අධිකාරිවරයා අතරේ මේ වනට කණ්ඩායම් කිහිපයක්ම ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙනවා මේ සැකකරුවන් සොයා ගැනීම සඳහා.
Today's shooting of the Venerable Thera, of course, comes against a backdrop where there have been several other shootings in close proximity to this. The most recent being a shooting in Beliata that claimed the lives of several individuals yesterday. Now, the shocking fact is that this shooting was carried out in broad daylight, and a leader of a political party also passed away during the shooting. Vasanta Samara Singha, Central Committee member of the Janata Vimukti Peramuna, expressed these views at a press conference regarding the situation.
It was a political party leader who passed away yesterday. Police are saying that it is a particular underworld group led by someone named Harakkata, and they were shot by another group. The Election Commission should have been informed that this political party leader is also a member of the underworld. This party should have been revealed to the country. The problem is, not only in this party, but there are many political party members who are involved with the underworld, those who commit antisocial acts. Some commit them while suited up. Police, along with a list of crimes, should inform the Elections Commission regarding these political party leaders who are involved with the underworld. This is a serious problem. The general public might not be aware that leaders of the underworld are in the list as political party leaders. Why they can't inform so is because they fear that all Ranil Rajapaksa names will be revealed as they deal with the underworld. We are aware and we remember how some of these organized criminals died.
Now, Sri Lanka police have obtained substantial evidence through CCTV concerning yesterday's shooting in Beliata. The shooting claimed the lives of 5 people, including that of the leader of the Ape Janabala party. Acting IGP Deshabandhu Tenakon says intelligence reports have revealed that the assassins have fled the southern province.
CCTV footage from multiple areas show the shooters of yesterday's murder in Beliata fleeing the scene in their SUV. Investigators are paying special attention to one particular footage which shows one of the men inside the SUV exiting the vehicle in Kamburupitiya Matara. Police said they are conducting investigations to apprehend suspects based on CCTV footage and mobile forensics. 5 people, including the leader of the Ape Janabala party, Saman Pereira, were killed in a shooting which occurred in close vicinity to the Beliata entrance to the expressway last morning. The shooting was carried out by a group travelling in an SUV when Saman Pereira and others had stopped the Defender SUV they were travelling in opposite an eatery and were entering the premises. Eyewitnesses revealed that the assassins, carrying 2 T-56 firearms, had opened fire at the Defender while entering the eatery. They had given chase to Saman Pereira, the leader of the Ape Janabala party, who had rushed into the eatery and had cornered him before firing. 4 victims of the shooting had died on the spot, while another passed away upon admission to hospital. Along with Saman Pereira, Illekutige Samira Madhusanka, alias Suratala, Vidaranalage Hasit Sanju, Buddhika Rajapaksa and Kannangara Koralage Nalin Champika Jayatilaka lost their lives following the shooting. The judicial inquest on the deceased was carried out this morning at the Tangol Base Hospital. The remains will be handed over to relatives once preliminary investigations are complete.
A total of 955 suspects have been apprehended over the past 24 hours that ended at 12:30 am today under Operation Yuktiya. The Minister of Public Security says that among them are 633 suspects involved in drug offences. 322 suspects who were on the list of wanted people compiled have also been apprehended. Police say 187 grams of heroin, 14.7 kilograms of cannabis, alongside a stock of other drugs, were seized during the operation.
Citizens of the People's Struggle organized a silent demonstration opposite the United Nations office in Colombo today, demanding an end to the suppression of the people under the name of the Yuktiya operation. Later, the group handed over a letter to the UN office.
At
this time, we can see that if this online bill is passed, people will lose their freedom of expression. People are killed by police firing in Narammala, and social media came forward in search of justice. Then protecting the social media is a right of the citizens of this country. The Minister of Public Security of this country, Tiran Alas, says that we do not listen to anything that the United Nations is saying. Are we a country bound to the UN? We have a responsibility to work with them. Now there is a serious problem. Who is killing people in several areas across the country? The people of the country now have a question whether it is the government, the police or the underworld.
Newsfirst with the people.
The online safety bill that of course affects social media and online behavior was taken up for debate in Parliament today after a resolution was passed by a majority of parliamentarians to have the debate today.
Now, however, the Minister of Public Security who presented the bill said that after the adoption of this bill, further amendments will be submitted to the Cabinet and brought to the Parliament.
Now, the Minister pointed out that other amendments that those agreed upon by the Supreme Court cannot be made at present.
What is this bill? This is the Online Safety Bill and looks to ensure the security of online content. The bill was gazetted on the 15th of September 2023. The objectives of the new law were to prohibit the communication of certain statements online, to prevent the use of online methods for prohibited purposes, and to suppress false statements or propaganda about certain incidents. According to the bill published in the Gazette, a 5-person commission appointed by the President can decide whether any online statement is false. They have the power to ban any online content which they deem as false. This commission also gets the power to order internet service providers to prevent, disable, or remove any statement made online. The commission appointed by the President can enter any place, inspect, fine, and prosecute. The bill was challenged in the Supreme Court by a number of parties. The Attorney General presented to the court a number of amendments to be made in Parliament regarding the original bill, and the court permitted for the bill to be passed by a simple majority, subject to those amendments. But serious criticisms were continuously leveled in relation to this bill, and those parties emphasized that the right of the people are being violated by this. The bill and its amendments were presented to the Parliament's Sectoral Oversight Committee on Media, Youth, Heritage and New Citizen yesterday, and it was later reported that the committee approved the bill, subject to the amendments presented by the Supreme Court. When the Online Safety Bill was prepared to be debated in Parliament today, the main point raised by the opposition was that the discussion in the Sectoral Monitoring Committee was insufficient. Thus, several parties of the opposition emphasized that the debate should be postponed. The opposition pointed out that the report of the Sectoral Oversight Committee, that only consisted of 1 page, is a grossly insufficient report on the bill. Standing Order number 50 stipulates that once the first reading of the bill is concluded, the bill must be forwarded to the Sectoral Oversight Committee, and the bill cannot be taken up for the second reading without the report of the Sectoral Oversight Committee first being submitted to Parliament. The opposition stressed that this process has not been properly followed with the Online Safety Bill.
කෝයේ වාර්තා ස්ථාවර නියෝගවල බොහෝම පැහැදිලිව තියෙනවා.
Where is that report? Standing orders clearly say that no action can be taken without the report. We ask you to please stop the action immediately and take a more optimal and constitutional action regarding this, as today's debate was against the standing orders and the constitution. How can we debate properly when we have no knowledge about these amendments?
වාදයක් කරන්නේ හරියාකාරව මේ සංශෝධන පිළිබඳව අපිට කිසිම දැනුමක් නැහැ.
වගන්ති එකින් එක සැලකීමට භාජනය.
The Sectoral Oversight Committee must submit a complete report with substance to the Parliament after considering each clause carefully. The Parliament cannot take any action regarding it until this report is submitted to Parliament.
ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් කිසිම පියවරක් ගැනීමට පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට පුළුවන් කමක් නැහැ. ඒ එක්කම දැන් මේ සංශෝධන
You table the amendments along with this just now. We only have it in English. Where is the Tamil translation? We need time to study how these amendments are compatible with the Supreme Court ruling, but we lack that time. The political awareness of the people of our country has been instrumental in developing their political understanding as well in recent times. It is due to the use of social media. It has become a headache for the government, and therefore the government have now resorted to suppress it.
මම ඒගොල්ලන්ට පොරොන්දුවක් දීලා තියෙන්නේ.
I have made a promise to them that after this bill is presented today with the proposals given by the Supreme Court, and after the voting is over tomorrow, I will present all those new proposals to the next cabinet and it will be gazetted after submission. After that, I don't think anyone will go to the Supreme Court for those proposals because all the parties have agreed on it. Following which, I talked about bringing this bill as amendments and everyone has agreed to it. With this bill, we are covering the communication of false statements in a way that causes rebellion, child abuse, violence against women and harm towards religion and coexistence. Taking action on the threat to national security, law and order and creating religious and cultural conflicts through false statements. We have brought this bill not to block social media as some people say, and I don't think we want to do anything to our political opponents. All these things are done to save the women and children of our country.
මේ සියලු දේ කරන්නේ අපේ රටේ කාන්තාවන් ළමයින් බේරගන්න.
The literacy level of the government members in this house is 0. That's what it means. Unfortunately, the honourable member who is presiding now also voted for it. A literacy level that is 0. The whole country must know this. A piece of paper that says a report will be submitted by the chairman is considered to be the report. Now, all that we, the opposition, wanted was that the minister himself appointed an expert committee. After the gazetting, after the challenge in the Supreme Court, after the determination of the Supreme Court, he went and appointed a committee. That committee made some recommendations. Yesterday at the Sectoral Oversight Committee, apparently both the government members and the opposition members agreed that that must be incorporated. So why don't you incorporate that? The Attorney General has said...
Well, you have 2 more minutes.
Thank you. The Attorney General has said that cannot be done because Article 78(3), there is a bar, it changes the nature of the bill. Then what do you have to do? You have to withdraw the bill. You have to re-gazette it according to the consensus that has been reached by both sides, that the recommendations of the experts must be incorporated, and then have the bill passed without a division. Once the consensus has been reached also at the Sectoral Oversight Committee, the government is bulldozing this defective bill today. The minister conceded at the party leaders meeting that this is defective. He is giving an assurance that he will bring amendments to this. So then why pass it? The minister giving that assurance itself is confirming the fact that this is a defective bill that is dividing this house. Why is he giving that assurance? So therefore, I am not going into the merits of this bill because the whole process is flawed.
අපි කිසිම මොහොතක මේ පනත් සම්බන්ධයෙන්
There is no need for us to comment on this bill at any time or to criticize politicians in particular. Honourable Chairman, if someone says there is a lot of prejudice in some places through these matters, obviously after going to the Supreme Court and making a promise in some way, we are not able to change it as the legislature wants. Therefore, there is nothing to oppose about because we will not change any kind of amendment.
කිසිම ආකාරයේ සංශෝධනයක් අපි විනාශ කිරීමක් සැකසංකාවක් තියා ගන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ විපක්ෂය.
There is an important question that came up this morning. He made a statement that the Asia Internet Coalition approved the bill that was tabled for today. I think it is very important to correct this because there is room for the AIC to replace it. So it is very good for him to say whether the AIC has agreed to this. I explained in my speech that I will bring all the points we agreed with the AIC to the Cabinet and pass them. This bill and the recommendations given by the Supreme Court are what have been tabled for today. We have not talked to the AIC about it, but after talking with the AIC, we have agreed on some points. I am bringing it forward as amendments.
ඒක මම මේකට amendments හැටියට කලින් මේ ඉදිරියට ගේනවා. ගරු රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මැතිතුමා මට හොඳට
I remember once Ranil Wickremesinghe went to the Lipton circus and shouted openly to oppose the banning of Facebook by the Rajapaksas. Today, that person becomes the president and works thinking that he can completely cover this communication space.
සම්පූර්ණම තමන්ගේ රටේ තියෙන පොල් කට්ටෙන් වහන්න පුළුවන් කියලා හිතලා වැඩ කරනවා. මේක එතුමා කරාට අපි ඔක්කොටම විශාල ලැජ්ජාවක්. මේක නියාමනය වෙන්න ඕන. හැබැයි මේක නියාමනය වෙන්න කියලා ගරු සභාපතිතුමනි නිදිකුම්බ ගහක් ගලවන්න බුල්ඩෝසරයක් දාලා තියෙන්නේ. මම ආයි කියනවා නිදිකුම්බ ගහක් ගලවන්න බුල්ඩෝසරයක් දාලා ලොකු වලක් හදමින් යන්නේ. හෙට මේ පනත කල් දාන්න හෙට ඡන්දය ගන්න.
Don't take the vote tomorrow. Postpone it. Let's debate about this in the parliament since it is an important issue. Let's postpone the third reading and discuss about this in the next parliament session.
Internet, the tech industry, the internet intermediaries, have they approved the amendments that you have proposed?
Of course, we have had extensive discussions with the Asian Coalition, where it covers about 15 companies. Our team went to Singapore and sat with them for 3 days, went para by para, and then after that they gave their suggestions.
Have met the approval of those people that you referred to, the Asia.
Of course,
that community has approved these amendments that you have tabled.
Whatever the amendments we are bringing, we have come to an agreement on those. But all what they have suggested has not come in here. So, and I made it very clear that I will try to accommodate as much as possible, not everything what they give.
That the tech community is extremely unhappy about these amendments.
Please check with them.
Yeah, okay. Right? It is after checking with them that I am raising this.
Whatever the amendments are based on their suggestions, and of course various other suggestions also, like from the Human Rights Commission in Colombo, those things also have been taken into account.
The Asia Internet Coalition on Tuesday refuted statements made by Sri Lanka's Ministry of Public Security Tiran Alas and warned that the online safety bill in its current form is unworkable and would undermine potential growth and foreign direct investment into Sri Lanka's digital economy.
The Asia Internet Coalition is an industry association comprising many of the world's most powerful internet and technology companies. The AIC seeks to promote the understanding and resolution of internet policy issues in the Asia-Pacific region. It is comprised of Apple, Pinterest, Grab, Amazon, Line, Google, Yahoo, Booking.com, Spotify, X, formerly known as Twitter, Rakuten, Meta, Shopify and FedEx. Jeff Payne, Managing Director of the Asia Internet Coalition, said in a statement, quote, "The Asia Internet Coalition would like to address and refute certain assertions made in the statement read by the Minister of Public Security in Parliament concerning the online safety bill. The Minister's statement does not accurately reflect the substantial contributions that the AIC has made throughout the legislative process, which include comprehensive submissions as well as engagements such as hosting representatives from the Ministry of Public Security at the annual Online Safety Forum organized by the AIC in Singapore. These engagements and representations eventually culminated with our last submission to the ministry on the 8th of January 2024. The statement further added, quote, "Despite our commitment to constructive collaboration, the AIC has not been privy to proposed amendments to the bill. We unequivocally stand by our position that the online safety bill in its current form is unworkable and would undermine potential growth and foreign direct investment into Sri Lanka's digital economy. We firmly believe that for the bill to align with global practices, extensive revisions are imperative." Unquote.
A demonstration was staged at the Battaramulla Polduwa junction this morning against the online safety bill and the security of the proposed online systems.
This demonstration themed Repeal the Social Media Bill that dumps down society was joined by civil organizations and social activists. Anti-riot officers were deployed to the protest site and water cannons could also be seen.
The people who went to the parliament with the sovereignty of the people are now ready to impose restrictions on the people. We say to the government of Ranil Rajapaksa, you cannot prevent the people of this country from getting information by imposing bans and media acts. You are imposing these bans and acts with the objective of hiding your actions from the people for election purposes. You are going to take this decision to prevent people from getting information through the civil organizations and civil activists. We say to the rulers of this country, even if social media is censored, the opinion and power of the people of this country will come forward. If you do not take this back, we would like to tell the rulers of this country to get ready to go home. We will chase you. Today, this corrupt parliament of this country is trying to pass a bill that takes away the freedom of speech of the citizens of this country. If this happens, you will never be able to talk about your matters or your problems on social media. We should not allow that. Recently, there was an Aragalya in this country. A situation was created where the former executive president of this country had to flee the country. One of the main sources used by the youth of this country was social media. Social media was active when the government censored other media channels and suppressed other media organizations. So people's lives were saved. What the government is doing now is shooting people on the road, destroying the environment. People have no way to live. One platform where all people united against these actions, where they spread the word freely, is going to be completely destroyed and brought under the control of the government.
Former Minister and Member of Parliament Namal Rajapaksa also commented on the online safety bill.
Parliamentarian Namal Rajapaksa says that he supports the online safety bill. We believe that social media in this country should be subject to some regulation because it should be implemented to protect people's privacy rather than regulating social media. We should introduce rules regarding that. I think that even if we are not a party, all of us MPs will support it. We believe that the majority of MPs will vote in favour of this, not only from our party but also from the opposition. Because in social media, defamation and desecration of privacy is not only common to us, it affects the common people of this country in a large way, even psychologically.
Newsfirst,
main sponsor.
Reach beyond boundaries with Edlocate. Explore education across 6 destinations under one roof. Explore education across 6 destinations. England, Canada, Ireland, New Zealand, Malaysia and Vietnam under one roof on 27 January from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Taj Samudra. Speak directly with university representatives. Scholarships available. Calling 077 177 0361.
The CBSL announced today that it would maintain the policy interest rates at present levels. Now, this was said in a press conference chaired by the central bank governor, which took place today.
During the media briefing held today at the CBSL premises led by the governor, the CBSL stated that they hope to maintain the same interest policy rates. They also stated that the expansion of 2023's economy is expected to continue in the year 2024.
Regarding the next regular statement on monetary policy review scheduled for 26 March, are there any specific areas or indicators that the public and businesses should pay close attention to in order to better understand the central bank's evolving stances and policy directions?
No, we would like people to understand the messages that we are giving in terms of the direction on the inflation expectations, and the expectation of more credit flowing into the economy. And if there are any deviations, then they need to monitor and follow. I think what was key one is to manage and anchor inflation expectations around 5%. That's what we expect from the public, from the markets, to base their consumption and investment decisions on the basis of stable 5% inflation going forward on a medium to long term basis. That's what we expect from the market.
The Israeli army says 24 of its soldiers were killed in Gaza. Yes, today, the 22nd of January, the deadliest day for its forces since their ground operation began.
The Israel Defense Forces said that the dead soldiers include 21 reservists who died in an explosion likely caused by mines that Israeli forces had placed in 2 buildings to demolish them. They were involved in an operation to allow for residents of southern Israel to safely return to their homes after tens of thousands were evacuated after the Hamas attack on the 7th of October. Meanwhile, a fierce fighting has taken place in Gaza by 3 hospitals in Khan Yunis in south, which is crowded with displaced people. The IDF announced it has completely encircled the city, which has been a main focus of its ground offensive targeting Hamas. Palestinian officials said that women and children have been killed in the latest fighting in the city, where Israeli blockades and the storming of hospitals since Monday had left the wounded and dead beyond the reach of rescuers. According to Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry, 195 Palestinians have been killed in the past day. Palestinian officials said at least 25,490 people have been killed and 63,000 wounded in Israeli attacks on Gaza since the 7th of October. The death toll from Hamas's attacks in southern Israel stands at 1,139.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News on TV1 for tonight.
Thank you for watching.
Good night.